Hi, today from Stockholm, Sweden for the second part in the series Traveling in the Times of Corona. Today I will tell you about the everyday life in Sweden, how it looks like, how people behave, what are the restrictions in traveling, in moving around, in doing things. See you in the next part. Stockholm, Sweden. Traveling in the times of Corona. How much do you see from Corona here in Sweden? What are the restrictions? How are you restricted? What can you do? What can't you do? Generally, the life in Sweden is pretty normal. The 4 times since I arrived, I have seen maybe 2, maybe 3 people wearing masks. There are generally no people wearing masks on the streets or anywhere, in the shops, in the hotels, in the restaurants. There is no obligation to wear masks. Some people do. You can say nobody wears a mask here in Sweden. There are some recommendations for taking care, for keeping distance, but there are no obligations to do that. So if you see at the restaurants people sitting close to each other, there are a lot of people on the streets in the evenings, people celebrating together, people having fun together, people staying close to each other. Of course, there are private enterprises like hotels, like shops. They show to the customers that they care for customers' health, that they take some precautions to make it safe for the customers to buy whatever. So, for example, there are stripes on the floor in the shops indicating the distance of 2 meters at the cashiers, right? They are like these plastic shields, transparent plastic shields at the cashiers. In the hotels, you see maybe a list of precautions they have taken, right? That, for example, they have precautions in preparing the food, in serving the food, whatever. But generally, you are pretty free to move around and to do whatever you want. There is no obligation to do anything and no limitation or no restrictions from doing anything. How does it look for tourists? For tourists, you have some limitations in the sense that most of the state museums are closed. The only state museum I could think about that isn't closed is Skansen because it's open air. But in Skansen, all the inside of the houses, of the historic houses, are closed, so you can't visit the inside of the houses. But everything outside is open. The private museums, most of them are open. Of course, every shop, every restaurant, everything is open to visit. Some of the attractions or some of the touristic attractions, they just stop to operate temporarily because there are no tourists, right? As a tourist, generally, it's fun in Sweden right now because none of the tourist attractions are crowded. There are not generally no tourists. People are afraid to come to Sweden. Some people don't know they can actually come to Sweden. So there are hardly any tourists. That's why some of the offers for tourists, they are suspended temporarily because there are no customers to take advantage of them. Like these historic trams, or as I said, museums, or maybe some boat trips that they offer for tourists. But generally the life for normal people is as usual, and for tourists, for me it's even better to visit Sweden now than when it is crowded, when, you know, wherever you go, like Old Town. It's so relaxed, so easygoing right now to go to Old Town for a coffee, for dinner, sit in the squares there, enjoy, just perfect. So if somebody tells you it is impossible to travel in the times of Corona, to, you know, visit your favorite places, this is bullshit. You can do that in Sweden really very, very well. This is how life in Stockholm in Sweden looks like, everyday life. In the evenings, people enjoying their lives, sitting close to each other. There is no masks, no panic, no psychotic behaviors about viruses, about corona. This is Stockholm, this is Sweden. This is life in corona times in Sweden. Evening in the park in Stockholm. People sitting close to each other. ABBA music playing in the background. People having fun, enjoying their lives. So that's it from Stockholm, Sweden, in this second part of our series, Traveling in the Times of Corona. In the next part, I will show you my way back from Sweden to Germany, and if there is any troubles that I have encountered, and what are the things you need to think about on the way back to your country. If you liked this video, give me a thumb up, if not thumb down. Subscribe if you haven't. Share this video with your loved ones, with your friends. I talk here a lot about doing difficult things, living on your own terms and thinking independently. I talk about leading an unlimited life, not being limited by the rules set up by others. So if you like this video, you will like my other videos. I invite you to watch them. That's it for today. I wish you a fantastic day. Let's do something extraordinary today.